Hi folks, how you all doing? Happy Sunday, happy new month, happy June. Happy first day of June. Can't believe May finished. May is already finished, another month. And by the time we quit the month, the year is done. All the reasons why they say make hay. They say make hay while the sun shines. Yep. Time is flying, waiting on no man. Anyway, welcome everyone. Welcome back to Karen Vibes, reading for the mature audience. Hope you all doing and hope you all hope you all having an awesome Sunday. Alrighty guys, gentle folks, so we're just gonna get right into it without further ado. So the name of our book is Flowers in the Attic, and it's written by Virginia Andrews and narrated by Karen. Somebody's supposed to come to me, so I keep looking outside, guys. But they don't come while I'm doing my reading. I've been waiting on them for quite a long time. Oh boy. Anyhow, so we're still at chapter 13, so we're just going to get right into it. Right where we stopped off. So we're just going to go. So those who have been following, you'll see where I've been reading. So we're just going to get into it. Christmas Eve. We had been 5 months at Foxworth Hall. Not once had we been down into the lower sections of this enormous house, much less to the outside. We kept to the rules. We said grace before every meal. We knelt and said prayers beside our beds every night. We were modest in the bathroom. We kept our thoughts clean, pure, innocent. And yet, it seemed to me, day by day, our meals grew poorer and poorer in quality. I convinced myself it didn't really matter if we missed out on one Christmas shopping spree. There would be other Christmases when we were rich, rotten rich. When we could go into a store and buy anything we wanted. How beautiful we'd be in our magnificent clothes, with our stylish manners and soft, eloquent voices that told the world we were somebodies. Somebodies who were special, loved, wanted, needed somebodies. Of course, Chris and I knew there wasn't a real Santa Claus, but we very much wanted the twins to believe in Santa Claus and not miss out on all that glorious enchantment of a fat, jolly man who whizzed about the world to deliver to all children exactly what they wanted, even when they didn't know what they wanted until they had it. What would childhood be like without believing in Santa Claus? Not the kind of childhood I wanted for our twins. Not at all. Even for those locked away. Christmas was a busy time, even for one beginning to despair and doubt and distrust. Secretly, Chris and I had been making gifts for Mommy, who really didn't need anything, and gifts for the twins. Plushy stuffed animals that we tediously backstitched by hand and then filled with cotton. I did all the embroidery work on the faces when they were still flat. I was in private in the bathroom, knitting Chris a cap of scarlet wool. It grew and it grew and it grew. I think Mommy must have forgotten to tell me something about Gorge. Then Chris came up with an absolutely idiotic and horrific suggestion. Let's make the grandmother a gift too. It's really not right to leave her out. She does bring up our food and milk, and who knows, a token like this may be just the thing needed to win over her affection. And think how much more enjoyable our lives would be if she could tolerate us. I was dopey enough to think it might work, and for hours and hours we slaved on a gift for an old witch who hated us. In all this time, she had never even once said our names. We bonded tan linen to a stretcher frame, glued on different colored stones, then carefully applied gold and brown cording. If we made a mistake, ever so painstakingly, we would do it over and make it right so she wouldn't notice. She was bound to be a perfectionist who'd see the slightest flaw and frown, and never truly would we give her anything less than our best efforts could produce. You see, said Chris again, I really do believe we have a chance in winning her over to our side. After all, she's our grandmother, and people do change. No one is static. While Mommy works to charm her father, we must work to charm her mother. And even if she refuses to look at me, she does look at you. She didn't look at me, not really. She only saw my hair. For some reason, she was fascinated by my hair. Remember Kathy? She did give us yellow chrysanthemums. He was right. That alone was a strong straw to grasp. In the late afternoon towards dusk, Mommy came to our room bearing a live Christmas tree in a small wooden tub. A balsam tree. What could smell more like Christmas? Mommy's wool dress was of bright red jersey. It clung and showed off all the curves. I hope to have one day. She was laughing and gay, making us happy too, as she stayed to help us trim the tree with the miniature ornaments and lights she had brought along. She gave us 4 stockings to drape on the bedpost for Santa to find and fill. Next year this time we'll be living in our own house, she said brightly, and I believed. Yes, said Mommy, smiling, filling all of us up with cheer. Next year this time life will be so wonderful for all of us. We'll have plenty of money to buy a grand home of our own, and everything you want will be yours. In no time at all, you'll forget this room, this attic, and all the days you have all endured so bravely will be forgotten, just like it never happened. She kissed us and said she loved us. We watched her leave and didn't feel bereft as before. She filled all our eyes, all our hopes and dreams. Wow. Mommy came in the night while we slept. In the morning, I woke up to see the stockings filled to the brim, and gifts galore. And gifts galore were stacked under the small table where the tree was. And in every empty available space in that room were all the toys for the twins that were too large and awkward to wrap. My eyes met with Chris. He winked, grinned, then bounded from his bed. He grabbed for the silver bells attached to the red plastic rings, and he shook them vigorously above his head. Merry Christmas! He boomed. Wake up, everybody! Wake up! Corey, Carrie, you sleepyheads, open your eyes, get up and behold. Look and see what Santa Claus has bought. They came so slowly out of dreams, rubbing at sticky eyes, staring in disbelief at the many toys, at the beautifully wrapped packages with name tags at the striped stocking with name tags, at the striped stockings stuffed with cookies, nuts, candy, fruit, chewing gum, peppermint sticks, chocolate Santas. Wow, real candy at last. Hard candy, that colorful kind that churches and schools gave out at their parties. The best kind of candy for making black holes in your teeth. Oh, but it looked and tasted so Christmassy. Corey sat on his bed, bedazzled, and again his small fist lifted to rub at his eyes, and he appeared too bewildered for speech. But Carrie could always find words. How did Santa Claus find us? Oh, Santa has magic eyes, explained Chris, who lifted Carrie up and swung her to his shoulder, and then he reached to do this to Corey too. He was doing as Daddy would have done, and tears came to my eyes. Santa would never overlook children deliberately, he said. And besides, he knew you were here. I made sure he knew, for I sat down and wrote him one very long letter and gave him our address. And I made out a list of things we wanted that was 3 feet long. You know, it is so funny when you're a child, you actually believe anything. These stories that they tell you when you're a child and tell you about Santa Claus. I remember when I was a little girl, this friend of the family, very nice lady, her name we used to call her Auntie Anne. And every Christmas we used to when the other adults were asleep, we would tiptoe, me and my sister, and we'd go out where the Christmas tree was on the veranda and pick up the chocolate stuff, because they used to hang some little ornament, but they were made of chocolate. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a nice little time. Pick up the chocolates off the tree and eat them, and sneak back into bed and have the chocolate on the sheet eating them. Boy, when you're a child, and then you grow up, you realize that what Santa Claus not real. Anyway, where were we? Santa would never overlook children deliberately, he said. And besides, he knew who you were. He knew you were here. I made sure he knew, for I sat down and wrote him one very long letter and gave him our address. And I made out a list of the things we wanted that was 3 feet long. How funny, I thought, for the list of what all 4 of us wanted was so short and simple. We wanted outside. We wanted our freedom. I sat up in bed and looked around and felt a sour, sweet lump in my throat. Mommy had tried. Oh yes, she tried, done her best from the way it looked. She did love us. She did care. Why? It must have taken her months to buy all of this. I was ashamed and full of contrition for everything mean and ugly I had thought. That's what came from wanting everything at once and having no patience and no faith. I was ashamed and full of... Sorry, I read that already. Sorry, guys. Chris turned to look at me questioningly. Aren't you ever gonna get up? Gonna sit there the whole day through, though? Aren't you ever going to get up? Gonna sit there the whole day through? You don't like gifts anymore? While Corey and Carrie tore off gift wrappings, Chris came over to me and stretched out his hand. Come, Kathy. Enjoy the only Christmas you'll have in your 13th year. Make this a unique Christmas, different from any we will experience in the future. His blue eyes pleaded. He was wearing rumpled red pajamas, piped in white, and his gold hair fluffed out wildly. I was wearing a red nightgown made of fleece, and my long hair was far more disheveled than his. Into his warm hand I put my own and I laughed. Christmas was Christmas, no matter where you were, and whatever the circumstances, it was still a day to enjoy. We opened everything wrapped, and we tried on our new clothes while stuffing candy into our mouths before breakfast. And Santa had left a note telling us to hide the candy from a certain you-know-who. After all, candy still caused cavities, even on Christmas Day. I sat on the floor wearing a stunning new robe of green velvet. Chris had a new robe of red flannel to match his pajamas. I dressed the twins in their new robes of bright blue. I don't think there could have been 4 happier children than we were early that morning. Chocolate bars were devilishly divine and made even sweeter because they were forbidden. It was pure heaven to hold that chocolate in my mouth and slowly let it melt while I squeezed my eyelids tight to better savor the taste. And when I looked, Chris had his eyes closed too. Funny how the twins ate their chocolate with wide open eyes, so full of surprise. Had they forgotten about candy? It seemed so, for they appeared to be holding paradise in their mouths, while we heard the doorknob rattle. Oh my goodness gracious, it must have been the grandmother coming in. We quickly hid the candy under the nearest bed. It was the grandmother. She came in quietly with the picnic basket. She put the basket on the gaming table. She didn't greet us with Merry Christmas, nor did she say good morning, nor even smile, or show in any way that this was a special day. And we were not to speak to her unless she spoke to us first. It was with this reluctance and fear, and also with great hope, that I picked up the long package wrapped in red foil that had come from one of Mommy's gifts to us. Beneath that beautiful paper was our collage painting, on which all 4 of us had worked to create a child's version of the perfect garden. The old trunks in the attic had provided us with fine materials, such as the gossamer silk to make the pastel butterflies that hovered over bright yarn flowers. How Carrie had wanted to make purple butterflies with red spots. She loved purple combined with red. If ever a more glorious butterfly existed, it would be a live one. It would be Corey's made of yellow, with green and black splotches and tiny little red stone eyes. Our trees were made of brown cording, combined with tiny tan pebbles to look like bark, and the branches gracefully entwined to brightly colored birds, so brightly colored birds could perch or fly between the leaves. Chris and I had taken chicken feathers from old pillows and dipped them in watercolors and dried them, and used an old toothbrush to comb the matted hairs and make them lovely again. It may be conceited to say that our picture showed signs of true artistry and a great deal of creative ingenuity. Our composition was balanced, yet it had rhythm, style, and a charm that had brought tears to our mother's eyes when we showed it to her. She had turned her back so we too wouldn't cry. Oh yes, by far this collage was the very best piece of artwork we had as yet turned out. Trembling apprehensively, I waited to time my approach so her hand would be empty. Since the grandmother never looked at Chris, and the twins were so terrified of her, they shriveled in her presence. It was up to me to give her the gift, and darn if I could make my feet move. Sharply, Chris nudged me with his elbow. "Go on," he whispered. "She'll go out the door in a minute." My feet seemed nailed to the floor. I held the long red package across my arms. From the very positioning, it seemed a sacrificial offering, for it wasn't easy to give her anything when she had given us nothing sorry, let me read this again. Sometimes I get tongue-tied. From the very positioning, It seemed a sacrificial offering, for it wasn't easy to give her anything when she had given us nothing but hostility and was waiting her chance to give us pain. That Christmas morning, she succeeded very well in giving us pain, even without a whip or a word. I wanted to greet her in the proper way and say, "Merry Christmas Day, Grandmother. We wanted to give you a little something. Really, don't thank us. It was no trouble at all. Just a little something to show how much we appreciate the food you bring to us each day and the shelter you have given us." No, no, no. She would think me sarcastic if I put it that way. Much better to say something like this: "Merry Christmas. We hope you like this gift. We all worked on it, even Corey and Carrie, and you can keep it so when we're gone, you'll know we did try. We did." Just to see me near with the gift held before me took her by surprise. Slowly, with my eyes, oh gosh, even me trembling too, wondering what she's going to say. Slowly, with my eyes lifting to bravely meet hers, I held out my Christmas offering. I didn't want to plead with my eyes. I wanted her to take it and like it and say thank you, even if she said it coldly. I wanted her to go to bed this night and think about us, and that maybe we weren't so bad after all. I wanted her to digest and savor all the work we'd put into her gift, and I wanted her to question the right and wrong of how she treated us. In the most withering way, her cold and scornful eyes lowered to the long box we'd wrapped in red. On the top was a sprig of artificial holly and a huge silver bow. A card was tied to the bow and read, "To Grandmother, from Chris, Kathy, Corey, and Carrie." Her gray-stoned eyes lingered on the card long enough to read it. Then she lifted her gaze to stare directly into my hopeful eyes, pleading, begging, wanting so much to be assured we weren't, as I sometimes feared, evil. Back to the box her eyes skipped. Then, deliberately, she turned her back. Without a word, she stalked out of the door, slammed it hard, then locked it from the other side. Oh my goodness. I feel bad. I feel so ashamed for them. Just feel bad. Not ashamed, feel bad. What a woman, what a grandmother, terrible man. Wow, she could at least take the gift and say thank you, even if she never liked it. My goodness. Wow. I was left in the middle of the room, hole in the end product of many long hours of striving for perfection and beauty. Fools! That's what we'd been. Damn fools. We would never win her over. She'd always consider us devil's spawn. As far as she was concerned, we really didn't exist. And it hurt. Oh, you bet it did. It did hurt. Right down to my bare feet. I ached and my heart became a hollow ball, shooting pain through my chest. Behind me, I could hear Chris raspily breathing in and out, and the twins began to whimper. Oh gosh, oh my goodness. This was my time to be adult and keep the poise that mommy used so well and so effectively. I patterned my movements and my expressions after those of my mother. I used my hands the way she used hers. I smiled as she did, slow and beguiling. And what did I do to demonstrate my maturity? I hurled the package to the floor. I swore, using words I'd never said aloud before. I raised my foot and stomped down on it, and heard the cardboard box crunch. I screamed, wild with fury. I jumped with both feet onto the gift, and I wildly stomped and jumped until I heard the cracking of the beautiful old frame we'd found in the attic, and re-glued and refinished and made it look almost like new again. I hated Chris for persuading me that we could win over a woman made of stone. I hated Mommy for putting us in this position. She should have known her mother better. She should have sold shoes in a department store. Certainly, there was something she could have done, but what she did. So let me read this back over. I hated Chris for persuading me that we could win over a woman made of stone. I hated Mommy for putting us in this position. She should have shown her mother better. She should have known her mother better. She should have sold shoes in a department store. Certainly, there was something she could have done, but what she did. Beneath the assault of someone wild and frenzied, the dry frame shattered into splinters. All our labor was gone. Gone. Well, I would not have gone and jumped upon it, but... Stop, 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 cried Chris. We can keep it for ourselves. Though he ran fast to prevent total destruction, the fragile painting was ruined, forever gone. I was in tears. Then I was bending down, crying and picking up the silk butterflies Corey and Kerry had made so painstakingly, with so much effort wasted to color the wings gloriously. Pastel butterflies I was to keep all my life long. Chris held me fast in his arms while I sobbed as he tried to comfort me with fatherly words. It's all right. It doesn't matter what she does. We were right, and she was wrong. We tried. She never tries. We sat on the floor silent, now amidst our gifts. The twins were quiet, their big eyes full of doubts, wanting to play with their toys, and undecided because they were our mirrors, and they would reflect our emotions. Whatever they were. Oh, the pity of seeing them so made me ache again. I was 12. I should learn at some time in my life how to act my age and hold on to my poise, and not to be a stick of dynamite. Let me read this back over right here. I should learn at some point in my life how to act my age and hold on to my poise, and not be a stick of dynamite, always ready to explode. Yes, gentle folks, we're going to stop there for today. When we get back, we'll finish chapter 13. Yes, really sad. So sad. Really sad what they have to be going through. Really sad. But when we get back, we'll see, we'll delve further and see what's going to happen after that. So thank you, folks, for taking the time to listen to me. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. Please remember to like and subscribe and share. Leave your comments. Please remember to visit my online tea shop, K Spicy Teas. It's on Shopify. So I left the link. The link is on the page here that you can go on. Visit my page. Please tell your friends and family about my tea shop and purchase a tea. And as I said, you purchase two, you'll get one free, and you might just get two free. Alright, and remember you can find me on YouTube, which is Karen Vibes. So it's KarenVibes, and that's with an exclamation sign. So you'll see my picture. And yep, so enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm gonna finish up I have some plants that I'm gonna water outside. And I'm going to put some plant food on them. I realized one of them kind of look, two of them kind of look wilted. So I'm going to put some plant food on them and see how that goes. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll be back. Yeah, we soon finish the book, guys. We're getting there. We soon finish. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll be back in short order. So peace out.